Hey guys, Joe from Valhalla Exotics here. I'm going through and reviewing all of the products that we have made available to the public to enhance, create, and generate your own enclosures using the Vanaheim cage conversion system. The next product that I wanted to discuss with you are our elevated water dishes. The reason that I made these is that I primarily, when I started this, was working with green tree pythons and emerald tree boas. Now, if you're familiar with the species, you'll know that they really don't like drinking from a standing water source at the bottom of their enclosure. They'll either drink from the coils on their body as it rains or gets misted, or they will drink from an elevated water dish. So, how do I solve that? Initially, I started using bird little metal dishes with a metal ring that you would install on the side of the enclosure, and those were great, but in a high humidity, high heat environment, what happened to them? They started to rust. So, how do I solve this and make it more efficient and make it better? We just decided to create our elevated water dish, which goes on the side of the enclosure and elevates it to whatever level you want. I prefer to take and put it near the highest perch in my enclosure and keep it level with that perch where the animal might hang out. The reason for that is, most of the time, if you've got your temperatures dialed in, you're gonna find that your animal hangs out at the spot at the highest where you have your temperature dialed in for your heating source. I'll put this on the inside of the cage, decide where I want it based on the perches that I've already installed, and then I will take our pre-drilled guide and I will place that on the outside using the center hole, there's 5 of them in total, to actually screw a screw into the inside of the enclosure from the outside in order to lock that in place. Once you have that in place, then you simply take and pre-drill the rest of the holes, remove that screw and remove the guide, and now you have holes that are lined up perfectly for right where you want that to be. Place it in. From the outside, you'll hand screw all 5 of those screws in. It's fairly easy. The reason I recommend a hand screwdriver is because you can over tighten it and actually strip out the material on these. They are made of plastic, but they haven't melted, they haven't caused any issues even being underneath the heat source in some of my enclosures that required a higher humidity. These actually hold your standard 4.5-inch diameter deli cup. You can use these for either a food source if you're working with a gecko or chameleon or other sort of species that requires an elevated food retention spot. You can put your rapashi, worms, crickets, anything you'd like in there. You can either use the deep deli or the shallow one, and you can add water to it. It will actually hold a full-grown emerald tree boa female who is pregnant. I actually initially had a different design on these and it did not hold her weight when she laid across it. She was very gravid, very pregnant, very uncomfortable, and was just trying to get a spot in her cage where she didn't feel uncomfortable, and she broke my dish. So I had to change my design, fix things and strengthen it slightly, and now it will actually hold her weight. So if it can hold her, it can hold a cup of water. I really like using the deli cup design because I always have deli cups, and anyone who keeps a lot of reptiles, you've got them laying around. So being able to take those, clean them, and then reutilize them as a water dish and be able to pull that out, toss it, set it aside to clean, and add a fresh, clean one with fresh water in there is really useful, and I find it efficient because I change waters every 2 days. So when you have as many animals as I do, that can be a task if you don't have an efficient way of doing it. So if you like this and you're interested in it, you want to learn more, check out our website, valhallaexotics.com, or check out our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or even hit us up on Facebook. We'd be happy to respond, answer any questions that you might have. You can also order our items from our website, or you can message me directly and I can send an invoice and get those sent out to you. Always remember, stay Valhalla bound.